Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Golf Ball on YouTube channel. I'm your host Jackson here for today's video. LIV Golf Invitational Round 1 is officially over. Caught maybe a little bit of the back nine there. I did miss the first 9 holes. Keep in mind, this is streamed on YouTube, which, we've been talking about this in videos recently. It's genius. It's on YouTube. It's free for everybody. There's no commercials. The commentators were a little bit dry, a little bit boring, so I do think that's somewhere they could tweak it, but it was the first day, and I think you have to admit this finished a lot better than I had imagined, and I think I speak for a lot of golf fans out here. My one thing is this: it was very boring. I thought it was pretty boring. If I had watched all 18 holes, I think it would have been very boring. Here's the thing, though. Keep in mind, this is a long-term play. LIV Golf is a long-term play. We're talking like 5 years down the line. That's when they want to have the top dogs. So you have 3 players in the top 10 in your PIP points. Bubba Watson, who finished 10th. There's rumors he was in a promotional video last week, I believe, for LIV. So Bubba Watson's as good as gone. The second event is going to be better than the first event. 100,000%. Just because of the way things are going to go, production. I thought the production was a lot better than I had imagined today. We'll talk about that in just a second. But something we've been talking a lot about on this channel, a lot in our podcast, is that the second event's going to be a lot better. I mean, you're going to have Bryson in it, you're going to have Ricky, you're going to have a lot of the top dogs, a lot of the bigger names that you've been seeing. Right now, it's mainly just Phil, it's mainly DJ. Schwartzel had a good day today. However, the thing is, and this is my issue, I know Nick was talking about this earlier, like Andy Ogletree shot like 84 today. I mean, as a viewer, what the hell do I have to gain from watching that? And it made me think about my bigger picture. Right now, as a viewer, like, what is the purpose outside of just like, wow, this is kind of cool, this is like, it's a little entertaining? To me, it was like watching a baseball game. Like, I'm gonna have it on, but I'm gonna be doing something else while it's on. I'm not gonna be watching this that often. Unless I hear Phil or DJ, that's when I'll look over. But when I'm watching some rando, not Andy Ogletree. When I'm watching some rando or I'm watching Andy Ogletree tapping his par for 84, it's like, it's a little dry. Now, this is going to change because, let's use the PIP, for example. You have 3 players in the top 10 of the PIP. They made like a collective, maybe at most $30 million. I think, do I have the number here? No, I don't have the number here. But basically, we're talking like triple-digit million numbers to play in the LIV. To even just show up. You could show up. You could drink 3 beers, have a couple sandwiches, maybe go on your phone a little bit, play some chess. You could do a bunch of different stuff, finish the round, shoot 87, and still come home with money. So there are going to be a ton of tour players that are going to come on over. But what it's really going to boil down to is, what is your price to play this over majors? How much money is it worth to you to compete in the majors? Because it's not looking good for the majors. The US Open's looking good, but I made a video yesterday talking about how for the Masters, I have a hard time believing the rumor on the street is that they're not, if you're in the LIV, you cannot play in the Masters, which sucks because the Masters is by far the best major. Now, the PGA Tour came out and suspended, 18 different players. LIV comes out, they're like, this is vindictive, this is not right, this is not fair, this is not the end. So I don't want to talk too much about that in today's video. I just want to talk about solely what it was like as a viewer and how boring it was. I don't know if it's a combination of the lack of competition in this first event, because it's a bunch of people none of us have ever heard about. It's going to take us a while. Maybe by the end, maybe by the final event in Doral at Trump's course, maybe by then we'll know these teams, because I keep looking at these teams. I'm like, who the hell is who? I didn't remember any of the teams. I don't know some of the players. So maybe by the end of the LIV event, at the end of the season, maybe then it'll be a little bit more entertaining with some of these people that I don't know at all. However, like I said, a bunch of tour players are going to come next week. I guarantee you, or not next week, sorry. When's the next event? July 1st to the 3rd in Portland. There are going to be a ton of golfers at that event. PGA Tour golfers. And I will say this. This is definitely fracturing the golf world. Fans are going to suffer, which definitely sucks because it's just everything's going to become less interesting. However, when we do have a big event like the U.S. Open, it's going to make the U.S. Open that much more exciting. It's kind of like that Bryson Brooks drama last year. Like, anytime they teed it up, it was a lot more fun. Whenever those two boys were in the same tournament, it was a lot more fun than if they weren't. Think back to the PGA or the U.S. Open or the PGA Championship last season, where they were jumping up all around each other at the U.S. Open. Like, it was just funny. Like, it was entertaining. It was comedic. So, is the LIV going to work in the long run? I kind of am thinking it might. There's just so much money on the table where, you're seeing it. It's like guys like Bubba. Like, if the tour loses a guy like Brooks Koepka, I think Brooks Koepka might be one of those guys that heads on over. But I'm talking like a Brooks Koepka, a Jon Rahm, a Rory McIlroy. If one of those three players goes to LIV, I mean, the PGA Tour is in a very, very, very difficult spot. They're in a very difficult spot. And like I said, the golf fans are unfortunately going to suffer until there's at least some type of common ground. I don't know how you get there. I don't know what that's going to be. RBC Heritage started today. I couldn't tell you a single thing of what is going on in the RBC Heritage. I couldn't tell you a single thing. The LIV Golf, I know a couple of things. I watched it. It wasn't that fun to watch, but I think it was a lot better than people expected. It was a lot better than I expected. I'm sure tomorrow will be better. I'm sure round 3 will be a little bit better. I think they'll be slightly. But that July 1st event in Portland, that's where you're going to have Bryson. That's where you're going to have Ricky. You're going to have Reed. That's where you're going to have Bubba. Like, there's going to be a lot of names that some people, and there's going to be those names I just mentioned, there's going to be a lot of names I think people who aren't thinking about right now are going to be there in Portland. And I think that's what's really going to get this thing started. It's just a really interesting time in the golf world right now. I mean, is it good in the long run for the game of the golf? I don't know. I mean, I genuinely don't know. Is bad for the PGA Tour? I mean, I'll tell you that. I don't know what really to make out of a lot of this stuff. I think we'll have a better idea once the first event is over. I think we'll have a better idea once the U.S. Open is done. I think we'll have a better idea once we know a little bit more about this legal battle. There's just so much at play right now that it's such an interesting time to be a golf fan. Like, it is something Nick and I talk on our pod all the time. Like, I don't even really know what to think quite yet. So hit the like button, hit that sub button. If you guys want to check out our podcast, go ahead, hit the link in the bio. We're live every single Thursday. We're going to be going live tomorrow, live on YouTube. But we talk all the time about LIV. So check that out. Hit the like button, hit that